reached without passing a user-specified maximum fan speed. The final GeForce 600 series release was the GTX 650T Boost based on the GK106 core, in response to AMD's Radeon HD 7790 release. At the end of May 2013, Nvidia announced the 700 series, which was still based on the Kepler architecture. However, it featured a GK110 based card at the top of the lineup. The GTX 780 was a slightly cut-down Titan that achieved nearly the same performance for two-thirds of the price. It featured the same advanced reference cooler design, but did not have the unlocked double precision cores and was equipped with 3 GB of memory. At the same time, Nvidia announced ShadowPlay, a screen capture solution that used an integrated H.264 encoder built into the Kepler architecture that Nvidia had not revealed previously. It could be used to record gameplay without a capture card, and with negligible performance decrease compared to software recording solutions, and was available even on the previous generation GeForce 600 series cards. The software beta for ShadowPlay, however, experienced multiple delays and would not be released until 3rd of October 2013. A week after the release of the GTX 780, Nvidia announced the GTX 770 to be a rebrand of the GTX 680. It was followed by the GTX 760 shortly after, which was also based on the GK104 core and similar to the GTX 660T. No more 700 series cards were set for release in 2013, although Nvidia announced G-Sync, another feature of the Kepler architecture that Nvidia had left unmentioned, which allowed the GPU to dynamically control the refresh rate of G-Sync compatible monitors, which would release in 2014, to combat tearing and judder. However, in October, AMD released its R9290X, which came in at $100 less than the GTX 780. In response, Nvidia slashed the price of the GTX 780 by $150 and released the GTX 780T, which featured a full 2880 core GK110 core, even more powerful than the GTX Titan, along with enhancements to the power delivery system which improved overclocking, and managed to pull ahead of AMD's new release. The GeForce 800M series consists of rebranded 700M series parts based on the Kepler architecture and some lower-end parts based on the newer Maxwell architecture. GeForce 900 series. In March 2013, Nvidia announced that the successor to Kepler would be the Maxwell microarchitecture. It was released in September 2014. With the GM10X series chips, emphasizing the new power efficiency architectural improvements in OEM, and low TDP products in desktop GTX 750/750T, and mobile GTX 850M/860M. Later that year, Nvidia pushed the TDP with the GM20X chips for power users, skipping the 800 series for desktop entirely. With the 900 series of GPUs. This was the last GeForce series to support analog video output through DVI. Although analog display adapters exist and are able to convert a digital display port, HDMI, or DVI-D, digital. GeForce 10 series. In March 2014, Nvidia announced that the successor to Maxwell would be the Pascal microarchitecture, announced on the 6th of May 2016 and released on the 27th of May 2016. Architectural improvements include the following: SAD Smiley 1819 in Pascal, an SM streaming multiprocessor, consists of 128 CUDA cores. Kepler packed 192 Femi 32 and Tesla only 8 CUDA cores into an SM. The GP100SM is partitioned into 2 processing blocks, each having 32 single precision CUDA cores, an instruction buffer, a warp scheduler, 2 texture mapping units and 2 dispatch units. GDDR5X new memory standard supporting 10-bit /S data rates and an updated memory controller. Only the Nvidia Titan X and Titan XP, GTX 1080, GTX 1080Ti, and GTX 1060, 6GB version, support GDDR5X. The GTX 1070Ti, GTX 1070, GTX 1060, 3GB version, GTX 1050Ti, and GTX 1050 use GDDR5.20. Unified memory, a memory architecture, where the CPU and GPU can access both main system memory and memory on the graphics card with the help of a technology called Page Migration Engine. NVLink, a high bandwidth bus between the CPU and GPU, and between multiple GPUs. Allows much higher transfer speeds than those achievable by using PCI Express, estimated to provide between 80 and 200 GB/s. 21, 22. 16-bit, FP16. Floating point operations can be executed at twice the rate of 32-bit floating point operations, single precision, 23, and 64-bit floating point operations, double precision, executed at half the rate of 32-bit floating point operations, Maxwell 1/32 rate. 24. More advanced process node, TSMC 12nm instead of the older TSMC 28nm. GeForce 20 series and 16 series. In August 2018, Nvidia announced the GeForce successor to Pascal. The new microarchitecture name was revealed as Turing at the SIGGRAPH 2018 conference. 25. This new GPU microarchitecture is aimed to accelerate the real-time ray tracing support and AI inferencing. It features a new ray tracing unit, RT Core, which can dedicate processors to the ray tracing in hardware. It supports the DXR extension in Microsoft DirectX 12. Nvidia claims the new architecture is up to 6 times faster than the older Pascal architecture. 26. 27. A whole new tensor core design since Volta introduces AI deep learning acceleration, which allows the utilization of DLSS, deep learning supersampling, a new form of anti-aliasing that uses AI to provide crisper imagery with less impact on performance. 28. It also changes its integer execution unit, which can execute in parallel with the floating point data path. A new unified cache architecture which doubles its bandwidth compared with previous generations was also announced. 29. The new GPUs were revealed as the Quadro RTX 8000, Quadro RTX 6000 and Quadro RTX 5000. The high-end Quadro RTX 8000 features 4608 CUDA cores and 576 tensor cores with 48 GB of RAM. 26. Later during the Gamescom press conference, Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang unveiled the new GeForce RTX series with RTX 2080Ti, 2080, and 2070 that will use the Turing architecture. The first Turing cards were slated to ship to consumers on the 20th of September, 2018. 30. Nvidia announced the RTX 2060 on January 6, 2019 at CES 2019. 31. On the 2nd of July, 2019, Nvidia announced the GeForce RTX Super line of cards, a 20 series refresh which comprises higher spec versions of the RTX 2060, 2070 and 2080. The RTX 2070 and 2080 were discontinued. In February 2019, Nvidia announced the GeForce 16 series. It is based on the same Turing architecture used in the GeForce 20 series, but disabling the Tensor, AI, and RT, ray tracing, cores to provide more affordable graphic cards for gamers while still attaining a higher performance compared to respective cards of the previous GeForce generations. Like the RTX Super Refresh, Nvidia on the 29th of October, 2019 announced the GTX 1650 Super and 1660 Super cards, which replaced their non-super counterparts. On the 28th of June, 2022, Nvidia quietly released their GTX 1630 card, which was meant for low-end gamers. GeForce 30 series. Nvidia officially announced at the GeForce special event that the successor to GeForce 20 series will be 30 series. It is built on the Ampere microarchitecture. The GeForce special event introduced took place on the 1st of September, 2020 and set the 17th of September as the official release date for the RTX 3080 GPU, September 24th for the RTX 3090 GPU and the 29th of October for the RTX 3070 GPU. 32, 33. With the latest GPU launch being the RTX 3090 Ti. The RTX 3090 Ti is the highest-end Nvidia GPU on the Ampere architecture. It features a fully unlocked GA102 die built on the Samsung A10M node due to supply shortages with TSMC. The RTX 3090 Ti has 10,752 CUDA cores, 336 tensor cores and texture mapping units, 112 ROPs, 84 RT cores, and 24 GB of GDDR6X memory with a 384-bit bus. 34. When compared to the RTX 2080 Ti, the 3090 Ti has 6,400 more CUDA cores. Due to the global chip shortage, the 30 series was controversial as scalpers and high demand meant that GPU prices skyrocketed for the 30 series and the AMD RX 6000 series. GeForce 40 series, current. On the 20th of September, 2022, Nvidia announced its GeForce 40 series graphics cards. 35. These came out as the RTX 4090, on the 12th of October, 2022, the RTX 4080 on the 16th of November, 2022, the RTX 4070 Ti on January 3, 2023 and the RTX 4070 estimated to be released in Q1 of this year, 2023. More 40 series are due this year. These are built on the Ada Lovelace architecture, with current part numbers being AD102 and AD103. The RTX 4090 is currently the fastest chip for the mainstream market that has been released by a major company, consisting of around 16,384 CUDA cores. Boost clocks of 2.2/2.5 GHz, 24 GB of GDDR6X, a 384-bit memory bus, 128 3rd-gen RT cores, 512 4th-gen tensor cores, DLSS 3.0 and a TDPoF 450 watts. Nvidia is expected to release a new Titan RTX, or an RTX 4090 Ti, sometime around 2023-4. GeForce 50 series, planned. The GeForce 50 series, RTX 50XX, are planned for release circa 2024 to 2025. It will be based upon the new, unreleased Blackwell architecture. It will be manufactured by TSMC or Samsung, with parts being codenamed GB100 and GB102. It will consist of either GDDR6 or GDDR7 memory. Variants. Mobile GPUs. A Nvidia GeForce Go 7600 integrated on a laptop motherboard, 36. Since the GeForce 2 series, Nvidia has produced a number of graphic chipsets for notebook computers under the GeForce Go branding. Most of the features present in the desktop counterparts are present in the mobile ones. These GPUs are generally optimized for lower power consumption and less heat output in order to be used in notebook peaks and small desktops. Beginning with the GeForce 8 series, the GeForce Go brand was discontinued and the mobile GPUs were integrated with the main line of GeForce GPUs, but their name suffixed with an M. This ended in 2016 with the launch of the laptop GeForce 10 series. Nvidia dropped the M suffix, opting to unify the branding between the desktop and laptop GPU offerings, as notebook Pascal GPUs are almost as powerful as their desktop counterparts, something Nvidia tested with their desktop class notebook GTX 980 GPU back in 2015. 37. The GeForce MX brand, previously used by Nvidia for their entry-level desktop GPUs, was revived in 2017 with the release of the GeForce MX 150 for notebooks. 38. The MX 150 is based on the same Pascal GP108 GPU as used on the desktop GT 1030, 39, and was quietly released in June 2017. 38. Small form factor GPUs. Similar to the mobile GPUs, Nvidia also released a few GPUs in small form factor format, for use in all-in-one desktops. These GPUs are suffixed with an S, similar to the M used for mobile products. 40. Integrated desktop motherboard GPUs. Beginning with the N-Force 4, Nvidia started including onboard graphics solutions in their motherboard chipsets. These onboard graphics solutions were called MPUs, motherboard GPUs. 41. Nvidia discontinued the N-Force range, including these MPUs, in 2009. 42. After the N-Force range was discontinued, Nvidia released their Ion line in 2009, which consisted of an Intel Atom CPU partnered with a low-end GeForce 9 series GPU, fixed on the motherboard. Nvidia released an upgraded Ion 2 in 2010, this time containing a low-end GeForce 300 series GPU. Nomenclature. From the GeForce 4 series until the GeForce 9 series, the naming scheme below is used. Category of graphics card number range suffix, A. Price range, B. USD, shader amount, C. Memory exemplar products type BIS width size entry level 0000550 SE, no suffix, GS. GT Ultra and LT $100 and LT 25% DDR 225 50% tilde 25% GeForce 9400 GT GeForce 9500 GT mid-range 600 750 VE no XT no suffix GSGSO GT GTS Ultra $117,525 50% DDR2 GDDR3 50 75% 50 75% GeForce 9600 GT GeForce 9600 GSO high-end 800 950V, low, ZTXT, no suffix GS, GSO, GT GTO GTS, GTX. GTX Plus, Ultra Extreme GX2 and GT $17,550 100% GDDR375 100% 50 100% GeForce 9800 GT, GeForce 9800 GTX. Since the release of the GeForce 100 series of GPUs, Nvidia changed their product naming scheme to